Hey, what's going on, YouTube? It's Dave here. Thank you for coming by Surviving New England. I had made a video recently, my last video, about kind of an SHTF situation and bartering. And I had a subscriber ask me, can you maybe do another video and make kind of a list of things that to collect that would be useful in bartering and when things go real bad. It was Kathy B. Had left a comment and said, Dave, please, can you maybe make a video? Absolutely, and here it is. Now, this list I'm going to give you is kind of after the dust clears. The first few weeks of a bad situation, a lot is going to go down. My opinion, of course, only. This is my opinion. I'm not saying this is going to definitely happen. I believe in a situation where a monetary collapse, an EMP, or all the power grid goes down, civil unrest, and the military comes in and has to bring order back to society, and you're stuck in an area that is kind of blocked off from the outside, and you're you're on your own. And now these items that I'll list are kind of something that happens after that. After the weak have been killed, the unprepared have been taken out, because that will happen. People that aren't prepared at all, and I will say the rich, people that are very, very rich and very, very comfortable, they will be the first to go. They couldn't light a fire if their life depended on it, and I mean that literally. So as the smoke clears, now you're talking about, like I said, the dust has settled, and now you're starting to realize the situation. People are starting to try to make sense of what's going on and try to maybe even help each other a little bit. So I have kind of a list that I kind of made that to me makes a lot of sense. And I want to stress that a lot of the stuff is long-term shelf items. Stuff that you can store away that will last. Just things that will last you a few years. So you can get them today, put them away, put them aside, and they'll last a while, right? So let's jump right into it. My trusty journal. So, like I said, these are long-term shelf items that kind of you can keep and store, and they won't go bad right away. And thank you, Kathy B, for mentioning this. And I have no problem. I love the suggestion, and I'm glad that you asked, because I kind of was waiting to do a video like this, and you just made it an opportune time to do so. So first off, right away on my list is skills. Skills don't go bad. They don't rot. They just don't go bad. If you're a welder, if you're a carpenter, if you're a doctor, a dentist, and you get my point. Any kind of skills can be bartered for payment for your skill. First aid knowledge, stuff like that. Next, I mentioned, now this is an item that you can stockpile. Bic lighters, toilet paper. This might be a little bit out of the bubble, but blankets, sleeping bags, stuff to keep you warm. You may have an abundance of these things, especially if you bug in. You might have plenty of these items where others don't. And that's a bartering item. A great item would be sweatshirts, gloves, hats, winter hats, socks, wool socks, stuff like that. Another good thing is toilet paper. I just mentioned that. I'm sorry. Now, another thing that you could stockpile as well is meds, aspirins, vitamins, drugs, prescription drugs. I don't suggest that you should have or stockpile illegal drugs. That's not where I'm going with that. But if that's something you had, you could use that for bartering. I mean, people would be desperate when they're in need or in want of aspirins, allergy medicines, contact lens fluid. The list goes on from there. Another thing that can be stockpiled is alcohol, and I mean booze, vodka, gin, whiskey, any kind of booze, because for the obvious reason, there's going to be those out there that are addicted to these items, and you may have the luxury of having this and not needing it, and to trade it or barter for something else that you don't have. This one is really obvious, bullets and gunpowder. Now, I said in my last video, I would never, ever barter bullets or gunpowder. I would never give up a defensive item like that could keep me and my family alive. But if you stockpile an item like that with the intention to use it as cash, that's a whole different story. Bullets, gunpowder, stuff like that. Maybe even a press to load your own rounds, stuff like that. Salt, sugar, honey. Honey, by the way, lasts forever. They found honey in Egyptian tombs in Egypt that was still good. Honey has no shelf life. It lasts forever. I don't know how, but thank goodness for honey. And in a time when we're not going to have any sweetener, in a bad situation where months and months go by and there's no way to sweeten your tea, honey would be a great bartering item. Here's another one that you can kind of stockpile. Water filtration tablets or water filters. I mean, that's self-explanatory. You're going to have people that know how to make their own clean water, boiling it, stuff like that. And you'll have those that don't know how. To hand them a filter and say, hey, I'll trade you a filter for a cow or a chicken or something like that. I mean, it's really that basic. You're getting down to the nitty-gritty of whatever's worth something to you and someone else doesn't have, you come together and you make a deal. Gun cleaning oils. If you don't have a weapon, you're going to want to barter for one. And to keep that weapon clean, you'll need something to keep it clean. Any kind of gun cleaning oils and stuff like that. Now, this one's huge. Batteries. Batteries are in a time where things are really bad. You're going to have people that have transistor radios, CB radios, walkie-talkies, flashlights, and people, if there's batteries out there, there'll always be a need for them. As long as these items are out there, like I say, flashlights and stuff like that, anything that takes a battery, there'll be a need for batteries. That'll be like gold, you guys. You have batteries, AAA, AA, D batteries, any kind of batteries is as good as cash. Hygiene items, soap, shampoo, alcohol wipes. Imagine not being able to shower or clean yourself for a month. That's a frightening thought. Now you're talking about disease. You're so dirty and filthy, the food you eat, you're contaminating everything. Using the bathroom is going to be a big deal in a SHTF situation. That's going to be a huge problem, guys, and I'm not going to get into that right now in this video, but sanitization is going to be a big deal. I can actually touch on it a little bit. If you are camping out, you bugged out, you're out in the woods, living off the land, you're getting your water from a stream or a brook, and there's a group a mile upstream that's using that brook to use the bathroom, you're receiving all of their waste. And you can't see it, and you're receiving that waste and thinking that it's clean. So, like I said, any kind of hygiene items, alcohol wipes, and such. Here's something else that can be stockpiled: candles and matches. This is a no-brainer for matches and candles, and that goes right up there with the Bic lighters. Fire, without fire, if you don't have the knowledge to create your own spark and your own fire, you're screwed. I can myself create fire from a spark, but without a ferro rod, I don't have the skills to make a friction fire with a bow drill. I've tried. It's very frustrating, very time consuming. It's a skill that it has to be learned in the field, and it's not an easy thing. If I have a Bic lighter, I am not going to sit there with a spindle and get a spark and get some kind of friction spark. And good luck even getting a fire, even if you make a spark. Matches, lighter, candles, stuff like that. Right? Okay. This is a kind of a little off topic. Playing cards, dice. This is a way to take your mind off of a terrible situation. If you have children and you're out there trying to make your way, and there's an amount of depression that's going on, and you're having a hard time, and your kids are having a hard time, some way to get the kid's mind off of the troubles of the day, not just kids, but adults as well, playing cards and dice. I know it doesn't sound like a big deal right now, and it's something that I never thought of until I saw playing cards in a survival video as a suggestion, and I agreed with it. I did not come up with that myself. That was another video I had watched like a year or two ago about having entertainment. It only makes sense. If you have chickens or ducks, stuff like that, little farm animals, and you're fortunate enough to have that, that is a bartering item in itself, and you can trade that for whatever. Any of these other items that I'm talking about, you want to give someone a chicken that lays eggs, that's a gift that keeps on giving, right? I would give up quite a bit to have chickens. Cigarettes, cigars, tobacco. I can't stress enough how important that would be for really somebody who's a smoker, a drinker. Tobacco would be an uplifting type item to barter for. There are those out there that would probably give up bullets and guns for a bottle of alcohol, a tin of chewing tobacco, or just tobacco in a bag, or cigarettes. I mean, people would give up probably a couple of members of their group just to get a pack of smokes, and it's sad but true. Coffee, razors, tea bags, flour, rice, all these items, huge. I mean, these are also long-term shelf items that you can stockpile. Here's another one, chocolate. Chocolate, when you eat chocolate, it releases endorphins in your brain. It makes you happy. It could uplift a group of people that you may be with, or your family, that are feeling really crappy, things aren't going right, and you pass out a Hershey bar to your kids. It would uplift the spirits, really, of anybody. If you hadn't had chocolate in, say, months, it would be a great bartering item for anybody, really. In a terrible situation where chocolate is not being processed or made anymore. It's something that... And chocolate is a long-term shelf item as well. I went through soap and shampoo, alcohol wipes. That's a big deal to clean yourself as well. That's hygiene. Very, very important, because with being non-cleanliness, that makes sense, comes sickness. Once you get germs floating around, people are going to get sick, and in a serious time where there's no hospitals, no doctors, the common cold or the common flu could kill you. Just saying. Sewing needles and thread or sewing materials. There'll be no stores to go buy shirts and pants and shoes and things like this, right? So to have a sewing kit to be able to repair old, broken down clothing is going to be a very big deal. You can't run to the store and go buy a new sweatshirt because you ripped it walking through the woods at night hunting a boar or a deer or something like that, and you rip your clothing. Once it's ripped, it's compromised, and now that will just wear out that much quicker. With a sewing kit, you can repair this item, and it will last that much longer. Now, this is very important. Food, right? All that freeze-dried food, I've done videos on the Mountain House freeze-dried foods. Seeds, to be able to plant tomatoes. Just seeds in general. Even flowers. That's an uplifting mental thing, to have a flower garden. If you're bugged out somewhere and you're growing corn and cucumbers and tomatoes and things like that, to even grow flowers. You know what I mean? This is the last on my list, but not in any order. This is a big deal. Gas, diesel, any kind of fuel, propane, oils, grease. There'll be items that you'll come across in a bug out situation. A tractor, a broken down car, tools that are just rusted and old. You get yourself a nice can of grease, or you've got oils, you can make that work again. Because what we will do is we're going to go back to the 1920s, where there's no machinery but hand tools. Tools is another item. Wrenches, screwdrivers. I mean, these are things you can't carry with you, and I understand that. This is not a bug out list. This is a list of things that can be bartered that I believe most of us have in our homes. Thank you so much for coming by Surviving New England. And Kathy B., I hope that kind of covered that for you. And again, I'll definitely see you guys on the next one.